Michaels, and today we are making these fun kids Easter bracelet stack. So we'll get started. If you want to go ahead and spotlight me, we can go through the product. Oh, I'm already spotlighted, aren't I? Okay, there we go. Okay, I'm going to turn myself off so you're not looking at the top of my head the whole time. Okay, let's go through the product that we are going to need to create these stacks. So I have, I'm just going to kind of separate them all out. So we have 5 bracelets that we used, that we did. 2 of them are the exact same, so they're super easy. But the technique to make all of these is actually the same thing. So we'll go through several ways to do it. We'll go through some tips and tricks and some different ideas when you are thinking about how you want your bracelet to end up. When you're done with your bracelets later, take a picture, upload them, hashtag them, make it with Michael's and hashtag Michael's classes. We'd love to see what you came up with. Okay. So the first thing we are going to need are these super cute Easter bead boxes. Now you don't, I have 2 sitting here. You don't need 2. And this is what I used to make these bracelets. You can use any beads that you have on hand, any beads that you purchased. They do not have to be from these boxes, but the benefit to getting these boxes is so I have one already open right here. They have charms in here already. And there's the stretch cord that we're going to use to make the bracelets. And there's all kinds of different bead options. So that's kind of a good benefit and to going ahead and getting these boxes. So if you don't have the box, and you want to add a charm later, I'm going to teach you how to do that. Even though we usually string them as we go, but if you decide you want a bracelet, I'm going to teach you how to do that. So don't worry about that right now. So if you want to add charms later, totally can still do that. And you can use any beads, like I said, pony beads, seed beads. I have some little seed beads here. This was in the material list. These little seed beads here. Clay beads. These are in the material list too. I just have them mixed up. I know they are separated in the package when you buy them, but I have them all in one just to make storage easier. If you want to add a word, I have in here hip hop. Because like hippity hop or something like that would have been a little bit too long. So I just have some alpha beads here, and they don't have to be these exact alpha beads. They can be any of the alpha beads that we have, alphabet beads. And then, so I still have these in my hand. Let's see, you will need some glue. It does not have to be this glue. You can, any craft glue, any kids appropriate craft glue. Elmer school glue works fantastically. Like I said, the Creatology craft glue works great. And then I have one already open right here. So I'm just going to bring that into our screen. And then you'll need scissors. And these are for 4 and up, so they will work on, anything that we're doing here. You will need, let's see, you don't absolutely have to have this guy. Actually, I don't even know if I was going to use them in a friendship bracelet, but it doesn't look like I did a friendship bracelet in this stack. So if you want to use these, great. If you don't, we don't have to. You can use this as what you run inside them, but it will be a little bit challenging because there's no what you call infrastructure. There's no wire or anything in here to help thread them through, and the needles, and most of the holes are too small for a needle to go through. So but anyways, if you want to make a friendship bracelet to go with this, we have lots on our website, so go check that out. And let's see, what else do we need? Oh, ruler to measure and you don't absolutely have to have a ruler, but it is helpful when because I have a kind of a standard formula on how much of the cording that we use for the bracelets. So regardless of who you're making it for, it works. Trust me, it works. So let's talk about a few things that you can use if you don't have this kit here. And I know I mentioned a few things, but really it's simple. It's any beads. If you want to do this translates to any season. So even though this is Easter specific, you could do this at Halloween and Christmas. We usually carry these cute little bead boxes throughout the year with different during the different holidays. So like I said, you can use any beads, you can add charms, you can add charms now, you can add charms later. We'll go through that. Come up with a word. I just went ahead and I know I said hip hop here, and I actually pulled those letters out, so I just have them ready. And then I did not put this on the material list, but chances are you probably have one. But toothpick, this is a great tool for this project. So if you don't have one with you right now, might want to grab one or see if you have a assistant, AKA your parent, that can run over and grab it for you. And just have it, to the side. It is something you'll see that I use throughout the projects on occasion for different things. And it's a really great tool to have on hand. So I'm just gonna put that off to the side. It's not a must, but it is nice to have. Okay, so let's get started. Do we have any questions to get started yet? If we don't, that is okay.
Not yet.
Okay.
Well, there is one, she does not see the list, so I'll try and get the link sent to her.
Okay. Yeah, I have, if you want to take a picture, like I just printed this off here. So you have, like, if you want to take a picture of this, you are welcome to. And those numbers behind each list, you type that in the search field on michaels.com, it will take you to those projects, the product online. So that's the item number.
That was perfect. Thank you.
Awesome. You're welcome. If you want to still add the link, that's great, but I just had it here. I always have my little cheat sheet so I can run through everything, make it so I don't forget. One of the items that's not on the list, it is not an absolute need, but I am going to show you that we do now have Creatology tools, jewelry tools for kids. These are aged 8 and above. So if you are younger than that, have a parent help you. You will need some pliers if you want to add a charm after we've crafted the projects. Now we'll go through that later, but just wanted to just give you a heads up and show you where, if I automatically just bring in some tools later and you're like, where did those come from? Just wanted to introduce them, but I'm going to keep them off to the side. So they're not super important right now, but they will be if you want to add charms later. Okay. Now there's 2 ways to add charms later, but again, we'll go through that. Okay. So let's start with it's just a simple bracelet. So we're going to start with this guy first. These I did 2 because I wanted some kind of filler like within your bracelets. We have some plastic. I should have had pulled them out. I didn't even think about it. But we have some plastic like bangle bracelets that are awesome to add in if you don't want 2 of the same one, but you want something else. It comes in a package of 12, I believe, and there's all different colors in there. So you should be able to find one that matches this pretty well if you want to go that route. So, but to make this stretch bracelet here, I used these seed beads. Now this is probably a couple of packages, so there's a lot in here. So I'm going to get a little plastic cup so I can pour them out. So it's easier to grab. If I can find one that's small, I have one right here. And I know it's not much different, but it is a little bit wider. And so I'm gonna have that. Actually isn't much different at all, is it? Oh well, it's trying to make things a little bit easier. Okay, so on the stretch bracelet, on the stretch cording, you will need 10 inches. You'll need 10 inches for every stretch bracelet that you want to make. 10 inches is a great number because it gives you enough slack that you can tie your surgeon's knot later, and we'll go through that later. That's a technique that we do to close up our bracelets, and it's good for any size. So if you're making a project, if you're making a bracelet for a parent or a teacher or a gift for an adult, the standard bracelet, the beaded part you want to do, it's probably about 7 inches depending on their wrist. So that gives you 3 inches of slack to tie your knot, so you're not like really getting in there with the small pieces. So you do waste a little bit at the end, but it is a good formula, especially like with my hands. I want to make sure I have enough room to tie the knot. So 10 inches is a good number to go on. So that's what I'm going to do, is cut this at 10 inches. And then another kind of tool like the toothpick that's really, really good is just tape. So like just regular like household, like what you have on here, any tape that you have at home. And all I'm going to do is, and I didn't put that on the list either, so if you want to add this, it's not absolutely necessary, but it is helpful to put on one end so your beads don't fall through on the other end. So as you're beading your bracelet. So all I'm going to do is I just reached in and grabbed them. I'm doing this in no rhyme or reason. If you want to do a pattern, you are more than welcome to do a pattern. I did not want to do a pattern. I just wanted to grab and thread. So if you look on here, that's all I did. So there's a couple of them, there's several of the same color, and that just is going to happen if you do it this way. And that's just how I like to do my filler bracelets, because I think it just gives a really pretty look once it's all stacked together. So I'm just threading without any kind of thought. I'm just popping them on here. So it's really easy. I mean, that's the whole part of this, putting these stretch bracelets together. It's just finding if you want a pattern, figuring out the pattern. If you don't want a pattern, then you just, just thread like I do, just not even having to think about it. And so you're going to do this for about, for kids, you might want to do it about 6 1/4, 6 1/2 inches. For adult, like I said, about 7 inches, depending on the wrist. Mine's about 6 3/4. And so that just depends, who you're making it for. Making it for yourself, you can measure kind of along the way by just doing, this, and we can get into that as we get more beads on here. So I'm just gonna be a mess today. I'm just gonna throw things around. Feel free to ask questions if you have any. If I'm going too fast, I tend to talk fast. So if I do, please slow me down. Try not to, especially when I know I do it. I think about it.
Rosie is asking how many beads per bracelet. Do you happen to know that?
I do not. If you look at these beads, and I'll show you why. A couple of these beads, they are cut so different. The sizes are cut so different. See, this guy is pretty, so you can see here, this guy's pretty long. But then you've got these two, let's see if I can turn them on their sides, if they want to go on their sides, are not very long at all. I mean, not very wide, so they're all different. They're all cut, they're imperfect beads cut completely different. So it's hard to know. And it depends on, how which ones you choose, how long you want your bracelet. So there's no real number. Now, when you get to things like these right here, we can get a better number for you. But with the seed beads, because they are cut so imperfectly, it's hard to say. But these little beads, they go pretty far. I mean, like I have several packs, just because I do these classes and do these things all the time. But if you had one pack, you will definitely get multiple bracelets out of just one pack. This is the pastel, and there is a bold color palette. So it has a little bit brighter, I shouldn't say a little bit, a lot of it brighter colors. So it's just a different look. And if you have, like, this guy doesn't want to come through, so like the hole's not, so you can, here's a good use for your toothpick. So you can kind of hollow it out a little bit to make it what they call reaming. There's a tool the adults in the adult jewelry section called a bead reamer, and that's pretty much what I'm doing with this toothpick. So just making it to where it can come through. Or because this is a little bit thicker, it may not actually work. So I may have to give this one a rest. This one may have to retire to the bead container. If I was using one of the stretch cords, which I don't have, it's stretch cord, but it's like a clear stretch cord. This just comes with the kit, clear stretch cord, then it would go through that once I opened it up. But like I said, this one's a little bit thicker. So now I am going to reserve some of these ivory ones because I'm going to use them for some other bracelets. I'm just going to pull them out. Now you can do any colors that you want. This is just ones I like to use. And they can be different. They don't have to be the same color like I did. That's just the way I wanted to do mine. So as I'm going to measure this. I know I'm nowhere close, but I'm just going to measure. So really all I'm doing is just, oops, it's sticky on the end. So I've still got a ways to go. So we can move. This bracelet right here is pretty much the one that's going to take the longest, just because there's so many little bitty beads. So we're only going to make one today, unless we have time later of this style. I had 2 in my bracelet stack. You are welcome to make another one later. For the purpose of time, I want to make sure that we're able to get some of the different tips and stuff in later as we go into how to add charms after you have bracelet finished and that kind of thing. Nice thing about the stretch bracelet is you don't have a clasp. You can take it on and off. But sometimes they have the tide. So if you didn't have any stretch and you're using like yarn or embroidery floss floss, like this stuff here, yarn probably wouldn't work with these beads because it's just too thick. But this right here would, it's just a little bit, challenging to get it through the hole because there's no stiffness to that thread. Then you have to tie the bracelet on or do a sliding knot closure, which we've taught in some classes in the past. So if you want to look up some of the bracelets, their projects we've done in the past classes, then you can learn how to do a sliding knot. We're just not doing one today.
Okay, okay, we have another question. Is there a certain type of stretch cord that you recommend, and do they come in different thicknesses?
Okay, great question. There are a couple of different options in our store, and I wish I had them right here. I know they're like in the half bathroom right over there. I could in my storage half bathroom. So there are multiple options. We have most of our cording in the kids jewelry section is elastic. It has, the benefits to the elastic is, not having to have a clasp. You can take it on, you don't have to tie it off. You can pop it on, pop it off. It's really easy. And I prefer the stretch in that regards, but there are sometimes you don't want the stretch for other things like necklaces and that kind of thing. So we don't really need it. So there's one currently that I know of. It's a value pack that's not stretched. So, well, and it's black and white. So we'll take that out of our kind of thought process right now. All the stretch, there's so many different thicknesses, different cordings, different, what do you call it? Finishes. Some of them are matte, some of them are sparkly, some are plastic. So the one that I use the most, which I don't have one right here. I do have one. If I have a minute to run in just a little bit, I can grab it, but it's on a spool and it's clear and it's Creatology stretch cord or stretchy cord. I think it's stretchy cord. I think that's what it physically is called if you look it up on our website. And that's the one that I recommend for most of these things. And actually, I wish I would have grabbed it for this because I'm using this box here that I'm going to run out of cording, but I do have the other boxes so I can pull them out. So I'm not worried about it. It's a really great project. I'm going to look in my drawer here because I thought for some reason I might have one here, but I do not. Okay, but it's in a spool and we have it in clear or white, and then we have it in a hot pink. And I think black is coming out. Now we also have a value pack that we carry that has like, oh, I have this one right here. I'm going to grab it. It's right here. This actually, I think this is going to be, yeah, this is in store now. I thought at first this one will be in store in April, but it is in store now. And this right here, these are all stretch cords. They're very thin. So that's great. So they'll work through all of these beads that we carry. One of the problems that you will find in some, I shouldn't say problems, challenges, that some of the cordings that we sell are thicker and they won't go through the bead holes of the fashion beads. And when I say fashion beads, I mean like not the pony beads, but so when you walk into our jewelry section, the first section usually is pony beads and the next section is our fashion beads. So it's like the pearls and the pretty beads, the fun pretty beads, things like these right here, but they're, every day as opposed to these ones that we just have right now at Easter time. And then the clay beads, those are another, thing like these guys here, they'll fit through here. And so this is a great item, but the one that I was talking about, this white, and we have one that's hot pink. The spool this is, a bunch of different ones here, but it's one spool. It's probably that big, probably maybe about that big right there. And that tall, and it's not as thick as this, but it has a lot more on there. So it'll go pretty far. So it's a great item. We also have like plastic lacing, which is like these guys here. These won't fit through these. And these don't stretch. So that's one thing to stay away from if you want a stretch bracelet. Now, these are great for other items, just not for this one. And then we also have paracord, which is not stretchy either. But it is good for this. It is good for other projects. And I've done some classes on that. So there should be in our archives. But yeah, to answer the long answer was that. The short answer is yes, there are several different categories, different lengths, different widths, different colors, and they all just depends on what you want to use. For what depends on the end result. If you want it quick and easy and stretch, then any of the elastics that are small enough to fit through the hole. That's the biggest thing when you're trying to decide is it needs to fit through the hole of the beads that you want to use for your bracelet, necklace, whatever it is. And I know that seems like a silly thing to think about, but it really is, because I don't want you to get home and go, oh man, I got to go take this back because it does not work with what I need. So when you're at the store, you can kind of turn the package around and look at the bead holes and see if it will fit through, or have an adult help you, or and then Michael's team member. Okay, so we said 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is way longer than I needed for me, because yes, I'm making this for me. I just took that one off. Oops, I took 1 or 2 too many off, but that's okay. I think that's close enough. Okay, so if you want to kind of, if you're still stringing, that's perfectly fine. Keep going, but you might want to take a minute and just set it down for a second and watch me tie this up. But do not worry. It's not going to be the last tie that I do today. Where I'm going to do the same tie multiple times throughout our class to, at the end of each bracelet, it's the same, what we call a surgeon's knot. And it's very, very simple. But so if you want to take a second and watch what I do here. Okay, it's close enough. Okay, I'm going to slide now with this tape. I'm just going to slide it off. Usually it just, slides right out. So you have your 2 ends. Okay, so I'm going to go slow, but remember, this isn't the only time you're going to see this. So we may not see it for, after our next bracelet, or I can probably unknot it and show you a couple of times. So, but don't worry, if you don't get it the first time, I'm going to teach this a couple of times. Okay, so if you just think about tying your shoe, so you do this. Now it's easy to, for them to overlap, but just kind of keep them, as close together so they don't overlap. Okay, and then when you're tying a regular knot, you're just going to put it through one time and you're going to pull it, right? Well, for the surgeon's knot, you're going to wrap it around here twice. So you go one time, instead of pulling it here, you're going to do one more wrap around. Okay, so it just gives one extra little security, and then you're going to pull it tight. No, don't pull it too tight, so then your beads will get all tight in there, because you want some give here. Okay, so then what I do from here, do you want me here? Let's see if I can undo this, and then I will show you one more time. Give me just 1 second to try to get this undone. If it wants to, I may have tied it just too good. Well, this one is not going to want to come back. I mean, I can sit here and mess with it, but just so we can continue on, I will show again. So don't worry. If you didn't see that, you want me to, and you want to walk through that with me again, just set your bracelet aside, and then you can come back to it and tie it off. If you want to, just add another piece of tape to the other end until we're ready. Or just set it to the side so it doesn't get jostled around. And then, so to finish this bracelet, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take, oh, my glue is all, that's all right, I'll get it later. I'm going to take a dab of glue and I'm going to put it on the knot. Now I'm going to separate my beads like this so I can get in the knot. I want to get it pretty good in there. I'm putting a lot on there. You don't have to do this much, but it does dry clear. Don't worry. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to see if they'll let me do it, because sometimes these bead holes aren't quite big enough, but if they aren't, that's okay. Because I'm going to try to pull that knot inside one of my beads so it's hidden. But if it doesn't work out, it's not that big a deal. It doesn't look like it's going to work on this one, but it's completely fine, because really you're not really paying much attention to it. So then I'm going to put a little bit of glue on the end of here, because what that is going to do is give me a little bit of an anchor, so I can fit it through, so I can knot off or tuck in the ends and tuck in the trim the excess. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay, so we're going to, and sometimes you might want to use your little handy dandy tool here and kind of shove it in there. And then, oh, he does not want to go in. Well, if they don't want to go in, I would put a little bit more glue on there. So the thicker ones like this, sometimes with these small holes, they're a little bit more challenging if it's not going to go through. Okay. let's do this. We are going to add a little bit more glue so we have a really good hold. Because that's not most likely not going to come out, but you don't want to be in the middle of Target and, or I should say in the middle of Michael's and your beads come apart. So, so we'll just put that glue on there. And then when that dries, we'll trim the end. So we'll wait and do that later. So I'm going to set this one aside. So there are those. Okay. Now let's go to we'll go to like the next simple bracelet. And they're all pretty simple. So these two right here are basically the same, even though I use different beads. So we're going to start with our 10 inches here. Find my scissors. Now this one here has charms on them, right? Charms come in the little bead boxes. And this one, because I used this bead box actually to make these, it looks like I only have 2 left, but you know, I started with these also. So these all came with it. Let's see if I can open this one and see what's in here. These look like it has a little bit brighter. This one has some alphabets, a little bit brighter colors than the pastel. I mean, they look similar colors, but when you look at the alphabet looks brighter. Gives some bright colors. Oh, there's more tape up here. Sorry, I did not have this already done before class started. Wasn't sure what I was going to show. Sometimes I just go with the flow here. What this guy does not want to open. It's easy. We'll look at, see what we have here. So we know what all of our options are, or at least what my options are. I don't know what you guys have, but this is what I have. I didn't cite this item. I just cited the bead box, but I mean, you could really use any of them. Just depends on what you like the best. Oh goodness, these guys do not want to. I'm done. There we go. Now, Lindsay, this class is being recorded, and when will it be up available if for some reason somebody wants to go back and watch it again?
Yes, within 24 hours. So tomorrow afternoon.
Awesome. Thank you. I never remember. Okay, and I'm going to go slow on opening this because I don't want to open it and everything fly everywhere. Okay. I'm kind of doing it real careful. Okay. So in this one, looks like we have some similar charms, a little bit different. Like this guy was the same, but this has got a little gnome. Oh, this carrot is cute. Oh, another carrot. Love it. I have these little enders if you want to use these enders, but I just with stretch bracelets, I just like to tie them off. But if you want to do an ender, I can show you how to do that here if we have time at the end. Super easy. It's just basically what we did here, except you're having a knot on both ends. So it's not too difficult, but we can walk through that. So this one looks like it has some lighter colors and lighter, what do you call these things? These little faceted, got like the AB quality to them. It's kind of shiny. And it's got some pearl, like the pastel pearls, but then it has the alphabets in this one and they're the brighter colors. So it's kind of a mix of things here. So so that's fun. And then it has the stretch cord in this one is the exact same thing, except it's purple. Now you don't really see it. So, you know, it doesn't really matter to me. But it's up to you how you want, if you want to use the purple or the white. Okay. So here I'm going to get my very, very technical little tool here, my tape. And then really the hardest part is deciding what you want on your bracelet, which ones. So I usually start with the charms or what my overall kind of looking like. These are the colors because I want these to stack well and want to stack together. The nice thing about this pastel set and these right here, they coordinate. Now, are the colors exact? No, but they look great together. So when you see all of these together, where's my other, here they are back here. When you see all of these together on a bracelet, like the picture on our website, it looks really good. And even though they don't always, you know, aren't perfectly matched, they look great. And then like the charms match well with the bracelet. You know, this has orange in it and there's no orange except here. So we pulled, you know, so you can pull these in if you want to, and just kind of have fun with your colors. Spring has some pretty colors in them. So you can just kind of mix and match the best that any way you want to. The little chicken's cute, or little chick. All right, we're gonna put this little bunny on here. So what I'm going to do for these guys here, you see my technique on this one right here was half pearl, half faceted. This one I did all faceted with just these little I call them pom-pom. They kind of look like pom-poms or like little like gift box ribbons for some reason, like the ones, with all the loops. That's just what it reminds me of. And then I put my charm in between those, or I put it in between the change of this. Now you can do multiple charms if you want to. They don't even have to be, these Easter ones. You can pick any charms. There's all kinds of charms in our kids aisle that you can choose from that would work great. And just for grins, this little bunny guy here, so cute. Look at that. How cute is that? You can do a whole bracelet of that if you want to. I just did it on here because I just thought it was cute with the hip hop, which I'm going to stick with that design, but it's so cute. We'll go through this one in a little bit with the clay, but it's so cute. So I'm just going to kind of keep going with what I have here. I'm going to leave these in our picture in the frame so you can kind of see what I did if you're interested in doing the same style that I did here, but I'm not going to do, I may or may not do two charms. I don't know, like one here and one here. I may just do one. Who knows? I'll just see what happens. I think I'm going to use, since I basically have this pearl here, I think I'm going to do it with, I'm going to offset it with like this flat purple. So we've got the shiny pink and a flat purple. Or maybe I'll do blue. Maybe I'll do the blue. Yeah, let's do blue. I'm going to do blue and purple because that's the color I don't have going on over here. I can just add to my collection I already have. So on here,
sorry, Kathy is asking, what size are these beads? Is it listed on the packaging, or can you measure them?
No, most of them are different. I shouldn't say most of them. Like this one right here has different sizes in them, but this one right here, they seem to all be probably 10 millimeter. That looks like about 10 millimeter to me. I have a little measuring tool. Give me just 1 second. I have it right behind me. I have a digital measuring tool. And we can, let's see, let me zero it out. Oh, you got zeroed it out at 0. That would probably be the best way to do this. Okay, hang on, it's not in there even. Yep, it says 9.5, but which would, probably be rounded up to 10 millimeter. Does that help?
Yes, thank you.
Awesome. Yeah, and then these, like I said, with these right here, they're cut all different. So, but they are just tiny seed beads. So, okay. So for these with the 10 millimeter, because that also will determine how many beads are needed for your bracelet. So the things that you need to think about when you're trying to decide how many beads you need for a bracelet is the size of beads that you're using, the size of bracelet that you need for the person who's going to wear it. And if you're going to do a specific pattern, how many beads you're going to need to go around it to stay within your pattern. I don't usually, or I should say, I do patterns often, but not with, with these kinds of bracelets. I think it's just kind of fun to do, just whatever. So like this right here, this has an even, sorry, I'm pulling my hair back because it's driving me nuts now. So we have, so I just did half and half. So this one was like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of the pearl. And I'm assuming 8, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 8 of the, because they're the same size. And then, and it fits me. Now this was made to fit a child. So my wrist is not very big. But I, would probably add 2 more beads to this. So if you're doing one for an adult, if you want to make one for a parent or teacher, like I said, or Sunday school teacher, whatever, you might want to do, 9 on each. If you're doing 2 colors, you might want to do 9. If they have a smaller or average wrist like I do, my hands are big, but my wrists are small. So I have to get it to go over my hand. So usually I have to do an extra, sometimes I have to do an extra bead or 2. So that's why I think 9 will be good on both sides. If you think they may have a little bit bigger wrist, then you may want to do 10. If you think they may have a little bit smaller wrist, then you might want to stick with the 8. So just kind of, I know it's hard to know, and it's hard for me to give that advice, but you just do the best you can. And the person who is receiving this will love it no matter what. Because it's so much fun. Okay, so I'm just threading them on. Same thing, just threading these guys on. And so I'm going to do 9 and see, that might be a little bit too big, but because I probably just need 9 on one side and 8 on the other, but just to keep things even, because that's just how I am. I am going to do 9 on both sides. Wasn't even counting, but now I am. Okay, so to add a charm while you're making a bracelet, it's just as simple as that. So all I did was I just picked up my charm, and the side and the orientation, the direction, it doesn't matter, because as you can tell, I mean, yes, there is a back to the charm, but there's not a back to the bracelet. So you can do it either way. So you don't have to like think about what side the clasp is on or any of that kind of stuff. You just slide it on, and that's it. So if you want to do something like this, you can do this where you have like two different beads and you sandwich the charm jump ring within there. You can do that. If you think you might add a charm later and you like this look, go ahead and do this right here without the charm. And again, I'll show you how to add a charm later. Okay, and then I'm going to use these flat purple because they just look like they want to come out and play with our bracelet today, because I did not use any of that in the original. So 1, 2, 3, I know 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, there we go. All right, so then I'm just going to keep going on here until I have my bracelet all ready. Now we do have some great items. As I'm threading these, I'm just going to kind of talk a little bit about if you want to make a necklace or a bracelet or something like that. If you want to make a necklace, especially, we have some videos and some past classes on how to make necklaces, so you can go back to refer to those, but use these beads on how to add a jump ring and how to add a lobster clasp. We do have some silver and gold color in the Creatology brand, so they are tested and approved for kids. So that is a great, exciting improvement, or I should say addition, to our kids jewelry program. We're really coming a long way. April, wait till April. We are going to have some really awesome things in April. I'm teaching a class next month that is how to make earrings for kids, using kids beads, using kids product. You will, if you're under 8, you will need an adult to help you with these on 1 or 2 of the styles. But most of the styles are very simple that you won't need the tools. There are a couple of them that are a little bit more advanced, but most of them you won't need the tool. So that's pretty cool. We have awesome charms coming out. We have earrings, like I just said. We have clip-ons if you need a clip-on, but the class I'm teaching is more for pierced, and it does make a difference because of the way you can't, I mean, it's not versatile. You can't do anything you do with the pierced earring style doesn't apply to the clip-on style. So if you are thinking you might get your ears pierced at some point and you want to make some jewelry, we encourage you to come. I'd love for you guys to come join me in that class. I'm not sure the date. I know it's in April. I feel like it's like the 8th, or that may be too early. It might be in the afternoon or later in the month. I'm not 100% sure. I did not write that down or look, but look for it on our website, just like where you found this class. Okay, we're going to close this out. So if you want to watch me again, I'm going to show you. So again, we're going to do a surgeon's knot. Okay, so we are going to, this one's a little bit easier because these beads are bigger. Sometimes when you're doing the seed bead one, they kind of, when you're trying to tie it on this first part, they'll overlap and kind of, go across each other like this. It's a little bit frustrating. So it's like how you hold your fingers and your hands. So just be patient with it. You'll get it. But this one right here, see how I must not have done a full 10 inches. My ends are kind of short, but they're doable because it is stretch. So I'm going to tie it, or I'm going to wrap it around like I'm going to do a normal tie or normal, well, he just did not, what is going on here? I got all kinds of stuff going on at one time. Okay, so I'm going to get them tied, and you don't want them super tight because you want there's to be some give between your bracelets, but you don't want it like loose because then you have too much room between your beads. Okay, so again, so I have it, I just let it go so I can show that one more time. So I'm going to overlap, and then I'm going to wrap one around the other. Okay, and then pull tight-ish. I should say tight-ish. Okay, you want to pull it tight, and then I'm going to wrap it around. So it's just like a regular overhand knot. And then as I take this tail, and it's going to go through the loop 2 times, not just once, like if you're doing a regular knot. You're going to do it 2 times for a surgeon's knot, and then you're going to pull it tight. And this, the clear stretchy cord that I use more often, or the white stretchy cord I use more often, tends to, the knot gets a little bit smaller, so it does fit inside the bracelet and beads better. So if you have that one, you're probably having a better time than I am trying to get these little knots to fit inside these beads. But we're going to give it the old college try again on this guy. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm putting a lot of this little glue. Remember, the glue dries clear. So if you get a little bit on your bead, like I just did, don't worry. It will dry clear. And I'm not getting that on very good. Okay. And then I'm just going to see which hole on which bead's bigger. They look about the same. See if I can see if it wants to go in there, but it may not want. Nope, that one went. Look at that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to thread it through a couple, because what I'm going to do that, the reason I'm going to do that is so these tails right here are also automatically tucked in. So I don't have to sit there and, retuck them, which is a nice little trick. So there's that. And if you want to, you can, add a little bit of glue. Sometimes I'll add a little bit of glue here, or I like to put it on the toothpick and just kind of shove it in there. Clean up my toothpick so I have it for something else later. And that way it's reinforced at the knot and here. So I've just got two little glue spots. And this glue is surprisingly strong for kids glue. It's surprisingly strong for the product that we're using. It works on, you can glue lots of things to lots of things with it, with this right here. Like, pom-poms to felt and, foam to, different things. I've done the test work. I've done the testing. So there's that. So I am going to do this one here. Let me see, before we get to, what's our time? Okay, before we get to this one, I want to show you, I'm going to string another one quickly. Actually, no, I'm not going to string another one quickly. I'm going to add a charm to this one already done, or one of these, it doesn't matter which one. So you can see how to add a charm after you created a bracelet, okay? So we're going to pretend this charm is not on here, okay? Actually, I'm going to take it off. Why don't I do that? I'm going to take it off. So take a break for just like 2 seconds here real quick. We'll just work backwards a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to pop it off. I'm going to close this up because that's how it comes. Okay, so we have a charm here that we want to add to our bracelet. Okay, that because we got our charm later, we found one on, this would be great on this bracelet I made. Okay, so if you're not, like I said, if you're not, these are really good for 8 and up because of, skill, and as you get older, it's a little bit easier to handle smaller items with the tool. So if you don't, if you need help with an adult, grab them and show them this video later if they're not available right this minute on how to help you do this. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I need two come in the tool set. You'll get a round nose plier and you'll get a chain nose plier. For me, it doesn't matter which one, but this one tends to have a bigger nose, bigger end, so it is easier to grasp for your steady hand, the one that's going to be holding this as we work through here. So that's the one I would recommend if you're not, especially if you're brand new to jewelry making. I think it's just easier to hold. So I'm just grabbing the jump ring, and what I was doing is I was looking for this. There's a split. I don't know if you can see it. Kind of hard to see with the camera or the phone. Yeah, we'll see it when I open it. There's a little split, and then I'm going to take my second pair here, and I'm going to grab onto it, and then I'm going to twist. You never want to pull it this way because that puts stress on the seam or on the opposite side, and it will make your jump ring not as strong and not round. It'll make it all kinds of funky, weird shape. And so then the ends won't go, what we just opened won't come back together. Okay, so I'm going to bring this up as much as I can. Oh, am I lagging? Okay, sorry, I was lagging a little bit. I'm going to see if I can move this over to the right side and where you can see. Am I catching up? I'm just lagging. What is going on?
It looks fine on my end.
Okay, there we go. I kept lagging. I was like, what's going on? I was like frozen. I was like, oh my goodness. But if you can see here, I have it open. Okay, so you have it open, and then I'm going to take my bracelet, and I'm going to kind of like I did with the glue, is I'm going to separate the beads a little bit where I want to put it with my fingers like this. You just need a little bit of room in there. And then I'm going to thread it through the open. And just like that. Okay, so if you can see, I'm going to see if I can do this at different angles. You can kind of see what's going on here. How I have it here. And then I'm going to grasp my other plier here. And I'm going to do the opposite of what I did to open it. Close it back up. So you want to twist it. And then I just kind of clamp it there at the end. Make sure it's on there really good. If you want to, you can add a dab of glue on there, but that's not coming off. That's on there pretty good. Okay, so there's that. So that's how you add a charm afterwards. Now there's another type of charm that we do carry. Like if you get a charm that's not in one of these boxes, one of these kits, and it has a clasp on it, it's like a little round circle with a little lever. You can just open that lever and pop it on. You don't have to open it up with the tools. So you can just use your fingers, pop it on. So it's pretty easy. And I don't have one right here, but it's just, wait, do I? Hang on, I might have one. Wait, if I have one on here, oh, none of these have it. Darn. Okay, I was hoping, but I will give you a preview of a new item coming out. Ooh, look at the charms, charms. This will be in the store next month. So there's that. Okay, so that'll be our secret, right? Okay, so now we're gonna do this guy here. Let's do this guy. And this one I used the clay beads. Let me move some of these out of the way here, but I kind of want to keep them around us, but not too far. Let me get these over here because then there's little ivory ones I put aside. That's what I used here in the middle of these here. It looks like I want a pink one because I love pink. It's my favorite. Okay. I didn't 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and I don't have 10 out there, but I can dig some more out in a little bit. Okay, so I'm just gonna pull some of these out here. If I need more, I'll grab them. Okay. So I have my letters, whatever word you want to spell. If you don't want to spell any word, you don't have to. You can add your name. You can add, if you have the numbers, you can add, a parent's phone number. So you don't get lost if you don't have a parent's phone number memorized. I mean, there's so many different really cool things you can do. You can put a name, a friend's name, initials, an encouraging thing that's, it's a strong or, something. It's up to you. But I just thought hip hop was fun for the season. So I'm going to stick with hip hop. Okay. So I'm going to put my super exciting little tape thing, and I just wrapped it around that time. Why I didn't just fold it over, I don't know. But this is a little bit shorter than what I was normally using, just because it's all I had left in mind. Now keep in mind, I'd already made all these other bracelets with the same length that came with the original box. So you probably have a lot more than I do left over, which is great. I can pull some more from another box if I need to, so no problem. Here I used a pink, these pink little bunny heads. I think that's just so cute. I just love that little bunny head. In this bunny shaped one, like they have, theirs is like an ivory kind of, but they're the pearlized. They're kind of a little bit pearlized, so it's kind of fun. So use whatever you want to use there. If you don't have these boxes, like I said, you can always, do this later if you want to, or, whatever you want to do. And really, because we don't have an opening, we don't have like a start or a finish really, I'm going to go with like this hole is kind of big on here, and I want to use this at the end so I can tuck my knot in there. So I'm going to hold on to him, leave him right here. And I'm going to start basically right here. Okay. So I'm going to add one of these seed beads. I'm just going to do an ivory one here. And all this is right here, if you see, it's just these flowers for spring, as what I was thinking with flowers. And it's just several of them stacked. Now, if you want them, you can do it like this for all the color, or you can actually do a fun mix. I'm going to do a fun mix because that way it's a little bit different than what I did here. So I'm just going to take each of these colors, and I'm actually going to mix in a blue as well. I'm going to say, it may not be the same. Let's see, how many colors are there? I think there's 4. So I'm going to do that. Then I'm going to go backwards. You can do them kind of random like we did with these right here, which will make a really pretty bracelet, a really pretty mix. This one for the sake of, for this one stack, and I'm probably going to do each stack differently. And so these just got out of order, but that's okay because that's fine. I'm just going to pop them in here. And I just stacked them all in here on together. And then I'm going to slide that through. Now you can do them one at a time if you want to, but for interest of time, and I just did them all together. So I did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 on those. So how many did I do on here? 1, 2, 4, 5, 6. That's okay. We'll just keep 7 on there. Okay. Now I'm going to add another another seed bead to that one. And then I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to grab this one. I'm going to make sure I have 2 yellows on that one, since there's only 1 yellow on this one. But beyond that, I'm just going to kind of grab, oh, there's another color. I'm going to get some of that orange in there. Oops, he doesn't want to stay on my hand. There's 4, 5, 6. I'm gonna get a pink on there. 7. And again, I'm just kind of randomly, I say semi-randomly. I'm kind of just making sure I have several colors represented in each little stack. How are we doing out there? Everyone doing all right? Not a
So far, so good.
good. It's not a super difficult project, but I do see how it could be a little bit kind of, wanting some guidance on how to pick your colors or how to pick, what we're using or what product is available. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I'm just going to do a couple of sections here. And see, on this one, I did 6, 7, 8, 9 sections, but I had less of these little plastic things, clay beads in each section. So I may end up just doing maybe 8 on here. I'm just gonna hopefully get lucky on my my length here. And then I'm just gonna grab some more here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, I don't know how to count. That was 6. That's 7. Okay. I'm going to twist this around because I ended on the other end with that orange. I know it's my only it's my own little silly. Okay, there they are. And like I said, you can use these seed beads. If you don't want to use seed beads, you want to use some of these bigger beads, or if you have this one and you want to use like the small pony beads or even these little round ones, I mean, you can use any beads as your spacer beads. I just happen to use these. I think it gives a nice little look, and I have them already here from these other bracelets. So it's nice to use the beads multiple times throughout your project, so you're not like using the same. I'm using all different ones. As a mom, I would appreciate that. I do appreciate that. Seems like sometimes it's like, we put all these items in here as options just because so we can, boost sales, which, I'm not going to lie, it is something that is nice, but you know what? We're here to educate and get us some future jewelry makers. So I also want to go, not unnecessarily stack a whole bunch of items on the material list. 3, 4, 5. Okay, so. And just like see, as it gets closer to 3, I may have a teenager barreling through here soon. So just apologies, because sometimes she comes in the door loud. She just wants everyone to know she's home. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. We are getting close to finishing this one. And again, we're just going to finish it off the same way we have, unless you want me to, I can show you how to use these little guys. No, we need on this bracelet. That may be a good one to do. So really, I would have gone ahead and knotted on here. This is what we're going to do. Sorry, I'm going to switch gears on you for just a second. I'm going to apologize now that I hope I'm not going to confuse. But normally, if I was going to do this bracelet as a using these guys, I would actually start the bracelet with one of these on. So I'm trying to think here without having to undo it. So we are going to, oops, I'm doing this backwards. Okay. We are going to slide this on up what feels like it's upside down like this, but trust me. Okay. I'm going to just tie a knot on the end here and get in there. So we're going to pretend we just started this bracelet and there's no beads on here yet. So we slid on our little end, and I'm going to tie a knot. I'm going to try to get as close to the end because I have, like I said, remember I have a shorter length here. And then I'm going to tie it double knot because I don't want it to go through that hole. So I'm just going to slide that other knot, put it on top of this one and try to keep it as close together as I can because I don't want it to go through this hole at the top here. There we go. So I'm going to pull that nice and tight. Okay. So now I got that on there. So now I'm beading, bead. Yay, my beads are on there. Okay. So now we are caught up. I'm going to take this tape off because we didn't need the tape since we have this guy on the end. Okay. So this is actually going to go in like this. That's how you're going to use as a kind of a clasp. Okay. So you need one end that looks like Sorry, I don't have the bracelet to kind of pull it out. You have one end that has like this little inner part, and then one that doesn't have it. So they can fit inside each other. Okay. So now we're going to continue on here. Because we have that, I think that I may be done with adding these. I can always add more on the other end if I need to. So I'm going to go ahead and put on my letters. So I'm going to say, now the letters are, oh, right in front of me. Okay. So you want to make sure that the orientation, the direction of the letters are correct. So you don't end up with, like, something like upside down, so I like to lay them out like this and then slide them in that way, because it just makes it easier for me to know that I'm doing it the way I wanted it to look. So I'm going to add the pink one in between the two words just to give it a little bit of a separation. If the pink one is going to let me thread it in there. If it's not, I'm going, oh, yeah, it is. Okay, got that. Now we're going to do, yep. Hop, I'm going to be fast. I know we have 4 minutes left together. So go and look at classes, come to some of my classes. We'd love to see your pictures. Again, here's our hashtags down here at the bottom. Make it with Michael's, or hashtag Michael's classes. We want to see what you have done with your bracelets. And I slid on my little bunny here. Okay, so now we're just going to do the opposite of what we did on the other end. I said this one's a little bit more challenging because we want to get that knot in there. So I'm going to pull this kind of tight. And then I'm going to tie this one doesn't have to be a surgeon's knot because I'm doing 2 knots. And you don't have to use glue if you don't want to, but you absolutely can. If it just makes you a little bit more comfortable to know that has that little bit of extra security, that is great, because this glue will work really well with this plastic. So we want that to fit inside there. We're going to trim this end here just a little bit because we don't want to see it sticking out. So to put your bracelet on, now you have this little, so it kind of looks like a little bead, just another shaped bead. So it's kind of fun. So that's how you do that. So you just knot it. Well, it feels like it's backwards, but it's not, because they've got to fit inside each other. You want your clasp out. And then I'm going to come back to this one here, and I'm just going to, now that the glue's dried a little bit, it's not completely dry. Well, it probably is completely dry. I'm just going to go short, and it's okay if you have these little bitty guys sticking out. It's not, you're not going to really notice it when you have all these other fun things in your bracelet. All these other bracelets stacked up in here. You can do all of these, and then we'll even pop in another hip hop since I have 2. Oh, come on. Just have had a weird hold on them. There you go. So then we have all these little bracelets. So I'm going to do this big old stack. I think it's fun. Cute. And you could do all bunnies, even like this guy here. If you wanted to do all bunnies on one side, that would be really cute too. So there's so many different options, so many different ways to do this where, unless you're, following exactly the way I did mine, which is 100% okay. I would love for that. Love to see pictures of that. Or you went and did your own designs, your own way of doing your beads. I'd love to see that too. So don't forget to add your pictures to and hashtag them so we can see what you've done. So thank you so much for spending your afternoon making bracelets with me. This was a lot of fun for me. So hopefully I will see you guys in earring classes coming up next month. Thanks, guys.